Hello guys, in this video I want to show you how to design REST APIs by using Python Flask, by using database MySQL, and how we can deploy that application on AWS server. To start with this, I want to create a database. To create a database, I already have logged into my MySQL database, and here I will start creating it. Let's say create database. My database name is MyDB. Let us use MyDB and let us create a table to store, let's say, products. So create table product. Every product will have an ID which is of type integer, which will be a primary key, and I don't want to supply the ID every time, so I want it get incremented automatically. Every product will have a title and let's say a price. Price will be a float. Okay, table got created. Let us insert some dummy record. Insert into product. Let's say I want to insert a title and a price. Let's say values will be product 1 and price will be 100. Let me see what is the current status. Select star from product. This will tell me the one product, the one which I just inserted, is successfully got inserted there. Very nice. Now let me keep it as it is, and let me turn our attention back to PyCharm. So right here I want to create a new application with a Flask server. To do that, I'm going to start with a new file named server.py, and right here we'll create our server implementation. Starting with importing Flask, say from Flask import Flask. I will need a request. I'll need a function called as JSONify as well. Let me import all of them right here. Let us create a new application. Let's say Flask with dunder name, and let us start that application by using a run method. I want to run it on port 0.0.0.0, which will accept all incoming requests from network, and there we'll say the port number, let's say 4000. Because I am developing application, I want that debug flag to turn on. Once done, we'll turn it off. Okay, so I have the application here. Whenever someone hits my URL with the slash as a root, I want this function to get called, a root, which is going to return, let's say hello, or maybe instead of saying hello, I'll say welcome to my REST application. Okay, so I want this function to get called when someone sends a GET request on URL slash. This can be done by saying app.route. This is the route which is configured for slash. We don't have to say methods, but it's always better to make our code readable. So this is the GET. So this function will be called for any request having GET as a HTTP method and slash as a route. Okay, so now our first route is ready. Let me run my application. The application is running here. I'm already running Postman here. Let me go to that Postman and hit this URL http://localhost:4000, and when I use the method get, I get the response back. Let me go to pretty and let me go to preview and see whether it is really working fine. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, now I don't want just to return a HTML file here or HTML tag here. I want to really perform all the CRUD operations on the database. To perform the CRUD operations on the database, I don't want to write that code every single time related to opening a connection, closing a connection, and executing a query. So to do this, I'm going to create another module, database. Right inside this, we'll import MySQL.connector, and we'll create a simple class named, let's say, database. This is a kind of class used to perform all the CRUD operations on MySQL database DB. This is the intention behind writing this class. Okay, let us write the initializer, and right inside this, let us create a connection object by saying mysql.connector.connect, and right inside this, I'll have to start with all the parameters here. Now the parameters are host, which is in my case is localhost. Next is the port number. If you really want to specify it, you can. If your MySQL is running on same port 3306, you can skip it. Important thing is the user. and the password. So let me say the password for me right now is 1234. It's not a good idea to use a root user, by the way, but for testing and demonstration it's all right. And finally, I want to specify which database I want to create. We create a database with MyDB name. So this is going to create a connection. Along with the connection, to execute any query, I need a cursor object. So I'll create one private object, cursor, which is equals to self.connection.cursor. Okay. Now, once the object gets created for this class, the connection and cursor will be created, and when I delete this object, I want both of them to be closed, for which I'm going to override it under del, where we are going to say underscore underscore connection dot close and self underscore underscore cursor dot close. Okay, now once the basic skeleton is ready, I need at least two methods, one to perform select operation and return the result, and other to perform all the operations where returning result is not mandatory. So right now what I'm going to do here is I'll say this is where we are going to say select query. This is the statement I want to get in, and I want to execute this statement. To execute the statement, we already have created the cursor object. We will say execute this statement, and maybe we want to return the result. To return the result, I will say underscore underscore cursor dot fetch all. Fetch all. Okay, now the other one is almost similar to this, but here I don't want to return the result. So maybe I'll say it is an execute query, which is going to execute the statement like what I did in select, but along with that it is going to commit the changes. For example, when you are performing other than select, like if you're performing insert, delete or update, you want to commit the changes. So there it is. I'll say connection dot commit. Okay, so now the database class is ready. Let us start using it in our application. To use it here, I will say import, maybe instead of importing the entire one, I'll say from database. I think I made that class file name with a capital letter, which is not a good idea. So let me go back and say refactor, rename, and say d small. It's a good idea to have a lowercase here. So import from this package, import the database class. Fine. Either you can create a new database object every single time in every single function, or you can create only one object and you can perform all the operations there. Right now, for demonstration purpose, I'll keep on creating the DB object. So this is my first method I want to execute. This is for get. So to do this, I'm going to say get, let's say product. Here I want to return all the products. So get products. How do I do that? To do this, first I need to configure this route. This route I'm going to configure for /product, where the method again should be get. Method get is not required to mention every single time because it's a default one. I want to make my code readable. That's the reason why I'm mentioning it here. Now I want to create a database object. Say this is the DB object I'm creating. Right inside this, I want to perform a select operation. Now when I say select operation, this is the query or this is the statement I want to execute. The statement would be select ID, title and price from product. I want to perform this operation by saying db.select. This is the special method we created which returns the result. This is the query I want to execute or statement I want to execute, which is going to give me the result. Now this result is the list of tuples. We cannot directly return the list of tuples. I want to return a JSONified response, and that is the reason I'm going to create, let's say, products, which will be an empty list, and I want to get all the tuple objects, convert them into dictionary and put them inside this array, inside this list. For this, I'm going to say for I know the structure would be ID, title and the price in this result object, which is a kind of list of tuples. Here I want to say products dot append, and right inside this I'll say this is the key ID, which is going to have the value ID, the key title, which is going to have the value title, and finally this is the price, and the value will be having a price. Now once we are done with converting list of tuples to list of dictionaries, I can directly send that data by converting into the JSON format by calling a function JSONify products. This is going to give me the data for all the products. So this is what I was looking for when I wanted to design that get API for products. I think we are done. Because we are saying debug equals to true, my server got automatically restarted. Again, just for testing, I'm sending the get request for slash. I got the welcome message. Good. Now I'll send a request for product. I'm expecting the list of products, and here it is. Let me go back. Let me go back to the pretty, and I see that this is coming as a JSON response because we are calling the JSONify, and we are sending it as an array of objects, which is working perfectly fine. Good. Now I want to go for the next one where I want to accept the data from user, and then I want to insert that data, insert the product details into the database. To do this, this is my next function. I'll say post product. Right inside this post product, I want to accept title and price. But before that, let us configure this route for slash product. And very important, we have to say the method here is post. Okay, I'm expecting title and the price. I can get the title by saying request dot form dot get. I'm expecting a key as a title, and same thing, I'm expecting a price as well by saying the key is equals to price. Now once you have the title and price, I want to create the statement or the query by saying this is a insert into named a product table, and here I want to insert the title and the price. Okay, right inside this I want to perform insert operation by inserting these two values, title and the price. Okay, now hopefully the statement is ready. The DB is required, so I'm going to create a DB by saying DB equals to new database. We'll perform the execute operation by passing that statement, and we are done. So here I'm going to say return. Will not send a simple string response. Instead we'll send a JSON response saying everything is looking good. So probably I'll say this is the result, or maybe instead of saying result I'll say status, which is equals to success because I successfully executed it. Okay, so now I want to test it. Now to test it, probably I'm going to send a post request inside which I'll come back to the body. We'll go to the URL encoded data where I want to insert the title as product 2 and the price somewhere here as a 200. Let me send this data. It will send me a status JSON, status success in form of a JSON object, which looks very nice. How do I confirm it? To confirm it, I'll send a get request, and hopefully it will turn back with two objects or two products now. So basically, the second product was inserted just by sending that post request. It worked. Let me come back here and design the next API. This API is kind of put in a sense I want to update existing product. Let's say I want to change the product title from product 2 to product 2 updated and product price from 200 to 250. To do this, I need the new price, new title, and I also need a ID for that object. I'm trying to send the data in this format. The method is put. I want to say that ID question mark, right here, question mark ID is equals to 2. ID means it's the query string parameter, and 2 is the product I want to update. To do this, I already have got the title and price from the form data. Now I'm going to get an ID. To get an ID, we'll say request dot args arguments dot get, and the ID is the query string parameter I'm looking for. Okay, once I have the ID, the rest of the code will remain same. Instead of saying insert into, I'll say update product. I'll say set title is equals to, we already had written this code last time, just going to reuse it. That's it, where ID is equals to ID. Very simple one. Now probably once we are kind of done with this data, don't forget to change the price, change the method name, not method, sorry, my bad, it's function name. And probably once it is done, I want to make sure that everything is working fine. Let us run our code. Very good. Let me try sending it. You see, last time the title was product 2 and the price was 200. This time I want to change the product 2 updated and the price will be let's say 250. That's what I said. Okay, how do I do that? Let us try to send this request. It says status equals to success, but I want to check whether it is really the case. So hopefully if I come back here, if I say send this request, look, the product 2 is changed to product 2 updated and 200 changed to 250. Okay, so if I look at the list of APIs, get is working, post is working, even the put is also working. Okay, let us try the last one. The last one is delete. I want to delete that product too by sending a delete message or delete request. I do not need any title and price here. I just need only ID. I think this is going to be a delete from. I don't need any of this part here. We'll just use where ID is equals to ID. And guess what? We are done. How do I check that? To check this, let me first run my application again. Something is missing. It's because I did not change the function name. Let me try one more time. Let us run the application. Application is running fine. Let me change this to say delete, and I want to delete, let's say ID is equals to 2, not 3. ID is equals to 2. It says status equals to success, and I can come back here in the get API, and if I send that URL, see the second product got deleted, which means everything is looking fine. Very good, which is a good sign actually. So I'm done with the development here. I think better I'll turn it off, and I think we can even remove the debug flag as well. Now time has come to move this application to the AWS server, where I can ask everyone to use this application by simply using a port number. Now to do this, I already have created a GitHub I already am opening my GitHub project here. So let me create a new repository. I'll say that this is the Python test application or test REST application. I'm going to create this as a public. Create this repository. Repository got created. I'm going to go back to my location where I'm creating it. It's in my / Python app, where I can see there are two files, my database and server. I'm going to initialize a git repository, git init. We'll add everything there, and we'll say git commit -m. I'll say initial commit. We'll have to first add the remote, which is right here, and then we can push the data there. Okay, so I think my changes or my code is now pushed to GitHub repository, which is looking good. Okay, if you don't want to use the GitHub, that is fine. You can directly upload your code by using SCP command, but I think this is the standard practice, and that's why I'm using a GitHub repository right here. Okay, now I want to create a new EC2 instance on my AWS. I already have logged into my AWS account. I'm going to use a North Virginia region there, and there I want to create an EC2 instance. To do this, I'm going to start with creating a new instance. Right there, we'll use Ubuntu as my operating system. Will take a second. Okay, let's try one more time. Let us launch instance. Here it is. So this is the Ubuntu server I'm going to start with. This is a t2.micro free. I'm going to say review and launch, and probably I'll say launch. It's asking me to either choose one key value pair or create a new one. I'm going to say create new one, and I'll say that this is Python test key. That's it. Download this key pair and launch the instance. The instance will be launched in a minute. By the time, let us come back and change the properties, change the let's say permissions of that file. To do this, I know it got downloaded in my downloads directory, so I'm going to set that to chmod 402 python test key.pem. Changing that permission to 400 will give us a chance to connect to the connect to that EC2 instance. Let me go to that instance. Here it is. I can see that this is the public IP of my server. Let me connect to it by saying ssh-i. I'm in the same directory right now, so let's say python key. It is Ubuntu @ IP address. It's the first time it's asking me whether you want to connect to that machine. Of course, yes. Let's connect to this. Got connected. The very first thing is I want to update the apt-get cache. Now, because we are using MySQL, we'll have to install it now. So sudo apt-get. install MySQL server. Okay, install it. Seems like MySQL is installed. Now let us connect to MySQL and change the root user's password. To do this, I'm going to say sudo MySQL. Okay, I'm going to use the command alter user root @ localhost identified with the MySQL native password by root1234, not 5, 1234. Now to make the changes, we'll have to flush the privileges. To do this, I'm going to say flush privileges and we are good to go. I want to confirm whether it is working by saying MySQL -u root -p root1234 is the password I set. Everything is looking good. Now I want to create the database. Create database mydb. Sorry, it's mydb. I want to use that mydb here and I want to create the table. So the table I already created last time. I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Okay. Now I will not insert any data. We'll insert the data by using the REST APIs. I'm done with this. Okay. Now let me see whether the Python 3 is installed here. Very good. The Python 3 is by default installed, so I do not have to install anything here. Okay. Now maybe I can say Control D to come out of this, and I want to get the code from my GitHub repository, which is right here. I can get the URL. I'll say git clone. This is the URL. Okay, go to that Python test REST API. Okay, so I downloaded that code. The code is available. Now to run this code, I have to have MySQL Python connector, and also I need to install the Flask. Now if I want to do this, I'll have to install pip3 package. To install pip3, we'll have to say sudo apt-get install python 3. I'm sorry, it's python 3 -pip. Okay, it will take a couple of minutes. It's bit on the larger side, but thank God we are on AWS. Very nice. Now I can say sudo pip3, sorry, it's pip3 install MySQL connector -python, and I want to also install Flask. Okay, got installed successfully. Very good. Let me try running this application here, Python 3, and we'll run that application with the name server.py. Seems like everything is working fine, but I will not be able to connect it unless I open this port from the security group. So I'm going to turn back to AWS management console. This is the EC2 instance we are using. Coming back to the security groups here, and I'm going to open the connection on port number 4000. So this is the port number 4000. I'm going to allow anywhere so anyone can talk to this instance. I'll say save. Now hopefully my server is already running here. I'm going to check this by using the IP address of that machine's IP address. I can come back to the instances. I can click that instance one more time, and this is the public IP. Let me grab it. Let us go back to the Postman right here. Instead of saying localhost, maybe we'll first check whether it is running. It should say welcome to my application or REST API. It's working fine. Good. Now we'll go back here and we'll see how many products do I have. Seems like this is the fresh database instance. We do not have anything here. Now I can post a new title. Let's say this is product 1 and price is 100. This is the first product we are creating. Let us see whether this really works. I'm sending post. It says status success, meaning if I say get request again, yes, I see the new product is getting installed. Now this application is running on AWS, and that is the reason why we are running this why we are sending this request to the IP address which is assigned to that EC2 instance. Now if I come back here and accidentally if I close this, or accidentally if I come out of this, my application will stop. Now to do this, I'm going to run this in background. Now when I say run this in background, probably this is not going to, I don't have to continuously be there on this page. So I can come out of it and then still it will run in the background. Now if I just go back here and if I send a request, see, everything is working. Though I came out of it, still the application is running in the background. Okay, so this is the quick demonstration of how to design REST APIs, how to deploy the package on the AWS. I hope you are getting it. Now once it is done, and if you don't want to pay Amazon for this EC2 instance, maybe you can delete it if you don't need that. So the good thing is I can come back here, I can say terminate, and I don't incur any of the charges for this EC2 instance. Mine is already created in 2015, so whatever resources I'm going to use, I need to pay for that. If you're creating today, then you don't have to pay it for at least 1 year. So choice is up to you, but I don't want to create a mess here, so it's better once I'm done I can delete it. It's shutting down in couple of minutes. It will say terminated. So it's terminated. Now I can safely say whatever resource I created in cloud, it's kind of deleted. This is the quick demonstration of it. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much.